everyone. Today we're going to be camping at the secret waterfall again, and I'm currently going a different way to the usual path I take. I'm approaching it from the complete opposite direction, and so I'm getting a bit lost. But it's fun. This is a really pretty area. Nice sunny day with a cool breeze in the air. It was -4 when I woke up this morning, frost everywhere, and it's all starting to thaw out now. I'm just coming up on an opening. Look at that. Big swamp area. Look at all that wattle glowing in the sun. I've just gotten over this bend and looked down, and there's absolutely tons of rubbish tucked into this cave. I really liked this spot because it felt very wild, but knowing someone's come down here and just absolutely trashed the place for no reason is pretty upsetting. I'll see if I can get down there a bit later on, and maybe I can take some of the rubbish with me. What I'm actually thinking is I might do a cowboy camp in this flat patch just behind me, and then that'll give me a really pretty view of the trees here, the waterfall coming down. But what I'm going to do before I set up fully is I'm going to leave my stuff here, and then I'll bring us downstream of the waterfall, and we'll have a look at that cave and see what the rubbish situation is, because it is a potential campsite, but only if it's clean enough. So let's go have a look at that now. I just noticed something amazing. There's all these icicles coming off the waterfall. That is so cool. This has been a nasty bush bash to try and get downstream. Moment of truth. Let's see how much they've disrespected this place. Why? Why would you do this? This is just months and months of canned food. Who knows how long this has been here for? All right, well, I'm certainly not going to be setting up camp there, so let's go back up on top of that hill and we'll get our bedroll and everything down. So what I'm wearing today is a piece of kit I've been waiting a very long time for. I pre-ordered this 3 months ago. It's a Jack Stillman poncho. So basically the gist is this is highly water resistant, and I'm going to be lying it out like a really big ground sheet. And so that's going to protect my sleeping mat from any moisture. And because I'm going to be cowboy camping, meaning I have no protection over the top of me, in the event that it does storm, you simply just take this out from underneath you and put it over the top, and it's kind of like a waterproof blanket. It's a really good piece of kit for when you're doing more rugged camping like this. Had a little afternoon nap and some lunch, and I've just woken up and sweeped away the leaves for a little fire pit here. So I'm going to build up another little rock oven because there's quite a few well-sized rocks around here that will make the building process fairly easy. It's funny, you get up at 7 in the morning to do this, get here around 10:30, 2 in the afternoon now, and I haven't even done that much. I've just kind of been sweeping the floor, put down my bed, set up a little rock oven, and here we are. It's an amazing experience camping down by the waterfall there, but it's also really nice to view it from a distance here, and I've got a really nice wide view of the valley, the trees, the water, a very tranquil spot. And it's just an absolute luxury that there's a small spring running through the valley over there where I can get clean water. I'm thinking once I get like a week or so off work, I'll stock up on a ton of food and come out here and just camp for like a week or two. I mean, you've got infinite access to water. You just have to ration your food really well and you're sorted. Anyway, I need to get a stockpile of firewood. My new knife just arrived the other day. I believe it's called an Ontario 499. From memory, it was given to Air Force pilots, perhaps during the Vietnam War. I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of got these teeth on it, like a saw blade. And initially when I saw the pictures of it, I thought, oh, well, it's like a mini saw for cutting wood. People kept saying around the place that it was used in the event that the pilot would crash and they had to pry open the metal of the cockpit to escape. I don't really understand how this little saw would do that, but I saw countless people saying that, so it's interesting. When I was camping down there, it got very dark very quickly because of the shadow of the waterfall. But up here you get this amazing sunset coming down over the valley, and then all of this golden light streaming onto your little campground. A couple of weeks ago I had, I guess what you could call the camping trip from hell. I lost and broke about $500 worth of camping gear, and many other things went wrong. And that left me a little bit reluctant to get out into the bush as quickly as I usually would. But today I can just easily say this has been an amazing trip. Settled into camp nice and quickly. Up here there's just so much firewood. I got this huge pile in about 15 minutes, and normally it takes me forever. Like last week in the jungle, took me 2 hours to get a fire going and about an hour and a half of firewood collection.
go on. God is never rushed. Come on by my side, right here. Well, we worked so hard to build a little house together. In the snow or the rain or the ice cold wind, whenever.
If you're not sneezing next to your steak, then you don't have enough herbs on it. I'm gonna do something a bit stupid, and I know this will probably do nothing, but I'm gonna put these mandarin peels in here and see if it smokes some of the mandarin flavor onto the steak. I'm sure it won't, but it's my little experiment, okay? These smell absolutely amazing. They're a really nice red color too. I think they've been smoked quite a lot from the coals. There's an obvious discrepancy in which one is cooked more than the other, but they're both done and ready to eat, and I am bloody excited for it. Wow. Done to perfection. That has the texture of a pillow. That's amazing. I'm so happy with that. Well, that's probably the best tasting lamb steak I've ever eaten. I did drop it in the sand. I seem to have a habit of doing that now. This is how I do my dishes. I grab dirt and I throw it in my pot and I mix it around and the dirt absorbs all of the grease. It's probably not advisable if you plan to eat out of this again, because you know there could be animal feces lying through the dirt. The idea is that it absorbs all of the grease and then it is easy to transport back home without the grease smelling up your bag. Mill went to Vietnam for a holiday for 3 weeks and she came back a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, while she was there, she was at a restaurant and at the bar they were selling, I believe she said Chinese wine. It's this very small 100 milliliter bottle. I think in this 100 ml bottle, it's like 4.5 standard. It's like extremely strong stuff. It's kind of like vodka, but less of a chemical flavor. It's slightly more palatable. Anyway, I've got a tiny bit left over from one of the bottles, so I'll have that with my beer now. Probably what, about 2 mouthfuls left. 2 mouthfuls of foul liquid. Why do humans do this? It smells a bit like a funky apple. If I smell vodka, I'd start gagging, but this is at least mildly pleasant. Ugh, that'll keep me warm tonight. This booze got some kick in it. There's a YouTuber I love to watch called Luke's Little Tribe, and he's this father that takes his kids out camping and fishing and all kinds of outdoor activities. Anyway, he just texted me a couple hours ago and he's like, "Oh mate, I just did a cowboy camp, and while me and my friend were sitting around the fire, my friend suddenly stood up, picked up his pillow and out slithered a tiger snake." And I'm like, shit, Luke, why are you telling me this while I'm cowboy camping? I'm in a very dry, crunchy, snaky type of area. So I've got that to potentially look forward to. It kind of reminds me of this video of this bloke way out in the outback. And the video, without any context, just begins with him sitting on the floor like, "Oh, bloody buggered, fellas." And he pans down and there's a snake that has crawled halfway up his pant leg, peels the snake out and then flings it off into the distance.
There's another fine mess I got myself into. This great tiger snake, the dogs chased up my leg while I wasn't looking. Clamped him off with a pair of ice grips that the was heading to the crown jewels. 1, 2, 3, Jesus Christ!
I'm just trying to imagine what would I do if I woke up and a snake had slithered down my neck into my sleeping bag. Like, what do you do? Because if you move it, wouldn't it just snatch you immediately? You just have to lie there for like hours and hours until it finally decides to bugger off and do something else. Good morning. Had a lovely sleep. As I was getting into bed, there was actually a huntsman crawling across my ground sheet. I wasn't too happy about that, so I picked him up and ate him to get rid of the problem. Unfortunately, there's no sun this morning. It's looking quite grim. I've had a couple drops of water land on my face the past couple hours. I think I'm going to start packing everything up pretty quickly. I'm not going to leave. I just want to make sure everything's away. I'm going to start up a fire. I'm going to have 2 coffees because I got 2 different flavors. Oh, actually, one more thing. So about 2 hours after I went to bed, I was asleep, and then I hear this enormous crash in the leaves and like a growl or something. And then I heard these big thuds coming over to me, and I had 2 bags here, and I felt one of them just get tugged on really hard. So that was really scary, and then it just scuttled off. It didn't take the bag. So I'm assuming it was a possum or something that had jumped out of a tree or something and then decided to try and snatch my bag of food. But the really scary thing about it was the crash was so heavy and the thuds were so thuddy, it sounded like a man had fallen out of a tree and then ran towards me and then grabbed my stuff. Like, it was really scary. I did not get up to look. I fell back to sleep after my heart settled down. It's boiling very slow, so I'm going to make a little toggle hanger and hold it above the fire myself just to speed things up. That's incredible. Almost immediately brought it to the boil. Round 2. Bugger. I've run out of water and I really don't want to have to boil water from the spring, even though it's probably clean as is. Oh well, I guess we're gonna have a very milky coffee then. A very cold coffee too. I've never had this much milk in a coffee before. I don't even know what this is gonna taste like. Interesting. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting. It tastes kind of like a Dare iced coffee, if you've ever had one of those. They're kind of like a chocolate milk with a coffee taste in it. Yeah, tastes like a Dare iced coffee. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Alright, I've got my breakfast and coffees in me and I think I'm about ready to go. But yeah, thanks for watching the video till the end. This was such a good camping trip. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This is seriously up there in like top 5 trips. It was just so good. Alright, well, thanks again and I'll see you in a weekend or two.